After 13 days, I thought that I would be just like huddled in a corner, just crying, but I surprisingly have found a whole new perspective on fitness. What I mean by this is I've found really what I kind of need to do in order to be able to be a little bit more balanced. So it's been almost 2 weeks since I've last run. In terms of an update about my injury, what I will say is fortunately I don't have pain. I don't have like bone pain when I wake up in the morning and when I first start walking. Before I used to not really be able to like push off from my foot. My calf still feels like a little bit tight, but it's definitely feeling a lot better. The other thing too is like I can walk now without pain. There's like an awareness of the calf feeling tighter than what the other side does. But I've been able to walk somewhere between 30 to 40 miles in a week. If you're local to Bethlehem, or if you follow my Instagram, my personal Instagram, you know that I'm kind of always pretty much outside walking around. So I've been able to continue to do that, which is really imperative for me in terms of just psychologically, like spending time outside. Now, in the meantime though, what I have found is I can get a fabulous workout on the assault bike, like on the Airdyne. So just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a rundown of some of what I've been doing some high aerobic work, low aerobic work, and anaerobic work. Now, what I mean by high aerobic work is the way that we typically think of actually running, right? Where it's like sustained effort, my heart rate is high. I've even got my heart rate up to 181. Like I was just crushing myself on this bike on Friday. Now, the thing though is I've also varied that with lower aerobic work. So, you know, my heart rate's around like 135 or so, and it's just a sustained effort for 30 minutes. What I have found to be key though are doing intervals. So, you know, typically when I would just go for a run, you know, I'm just running and then progressively my heart rate gets up a little bit higher. Now with the bike, I had to take a little bit of a different approach. It's been pretty cool because I had started at the suggestion of John doing these intervals. Because at first it was just about like, okay, I just need to get my heart rate up in some way. But what I found is it's actually really helping me to think about my turnover. So the thing that I always say for myself is I'm pretty athletic until I have to sprint, right? Like I have no fast twitch muscle fibers in my body. I'm like designed to just go for like a long period of time at pretty like moderately high intensity. What this has taught me is how to be able to accelerate quickly. So what I'll do is I'll do 20 seconds on, 40 seconds, just easy. And that 20 seconds, like I am using every part of like my hamstring, glute, pulling back with my heel, using my quad, engaging my core, moving my arms, making sure that I'm not like dropping my head, trying to maintain like that central line of my core stability. And I'm just going as hard as I can for this 20 seconds. Because in my mind, I'm like, this is only 20 seconds. But what I found is that this is producing a really effective anaerobic effort. So like I track all of my workouts on my Garmin, and the anaerobic work has always been kind of elusive. In simple terms, when I say anaerobic work, I mean this like really concentrated, high effort work that's very short duration because it uses a different metabolic pathway. Anaerobic means that it doesn't use oxygen. So the whole idea is that if you're sustaining an activity, you're going to have to utilize oxygen in your musculature. In this case, what we're doing is we're using a different pathway that's going to allow us to use the muscle, but then not rely on oxygen. This is really effective for improving your overall speed. This was always a missing piece of my training, and now I found this puzzle piece. This has been a really effective way for me to be able to get some of that anaerobic work. As a result, what I'm thinking about doing is kind of like revamping all of my training. So first and foremost, I love running just as the act of running. Like I just love being outside. When it's been like super hot and humid this week, I've been really missing being outside and just suffering. As crazy as that sounds, I know a lot of you guys that will resonate with you. So running will always be a part of, you know, what it is that I do. But what I am starting to rethink is like, okay, how am I going to express this? So for running, what I want to do is I'll probably stick with doing about like 30 to 35 miles a week. I'll have 2 quality workouts. So one that's like a little bit faster on the track, and then one that would be like a tempo. And then I'll also do a long run that will be easy. And then I'll do one other day where it's like a moderate kind of effort. Now I had been running 6 days a week just because, again, I just like the act of it. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do like 2 to 3 bike workouts, and I'll mix it up between some high aerobic effort and then also anaerobic. That anaerobic is going to be key for me. So I'm just about to do a 20-second on, 40-second off workout just to kind of work on a little bit of that. In terms of treating my injury, I've continued to really focus on not only just the part that hurts, right, it being my calf and my shin. So I've been foam rolling, stretching, Grastoning, but I've also been working on my hips, so above the chain, because that's part of the reason why there was excess stress on the calf and on the shin, was because I wasn't really utilizing the function of this right side. So I've been working on the flexibility, I've been working on the muscle activation of the glutes, and then also some of the strength and stability. So I've been using our primers, right? So I've been doing things like pigeon, and then into side leg lifts, and then into single leg RDLs. That's one of my most favorite ones. So I've been like really just drilling that. So in that way, then I'm prepared for when I do get back to running, then my body then is kind of saying, okay, here's what this right hip should be doing, here's what it wasn't doing, and then as a result I was forcing my right calf and shin to take the brunt of that. So I'm happy to report that things are definitely moving in the right direction. On our blog, I'm going to detail what I've done for my workouts, so then that way if you guys want any ideas in terms of punishing yourself on the assault bike, then you'll have a pretty good idea of what to do. As always, I'm going to keep you guys updated in terms of my progress. I think that within the next week or two, I can start to try to do like a little run walk sort of thing, kind of test the boundaries. And that's where it'll be really interesting. So make sure you follow along, because I always have different recommendations for my patients in terms of like how they start to reintroduce running. And then also for their symptoms, what's normal, what means you should back off, that kind of thing. So stay tuned.